Welcome back, TCS viewers. It is Chris Nichols here, and this is our 100th episode. I know it's been a long time. You guys have been patiently waiting. Some of you not so patiently, but it was worth the wait because we've got quite the camera today. We are looking at the brand new Olympus mirrorless camera. Now, of course, it's already been leaked. You know what we're going to talk about. We'll just try to suspend the disbelief for a bit here because we're still waiting for our Olympus rep to show up with the camera, but it's going to be good. Stick with us. You're going to enjoy it. Well, you know, we're always trying to find new locations, so we are about 10 minutes away from Calgary in the amazing land of Okotoks. Calgary's just over that hill. And oh, look, there's a gigantic rock. We are going to go check this out. It is kind of interesting. It's pretty impressive, huh? I mean, what's so amazing about this gigantic rock is it's a glacial erratic. Now, that means that this puppy traveled from Jasper, way off in the Rocky Mountains, on top of a glacier during the Ice Age, all the way to here. It gets plopped down, the glacier recedes, and now we have the talking point of Okotoks, Alberta. You know what's even more impressive than this, though? The brand new Olympus E-M1. All right, so this is what we're waiting for. We are very eager to see this. It's the brand new Olympus E-M1. The follow-up to probably one of the most loved mirrorless cameras on the planet right now. This is a very exciting thing. I can't wait to try it out. And one of the things that strikes me first is the overall feel and look of this camera. You know, it seems like a lot of the mirrorless cameras are okay now with going to larger cameras. Take, for example, the Panasonic GH3, which is basically the same size as a Canon Rebel. Now, at first glance, I look at the E-M1 and it does look physically bigger. It has a more imposing presence. But that being said, check this out. Side by side with the E-M5, they're basically the same size of body. The only thing that really stands out is a larger grip, and I have to say, it's very comfortable, feels great. It also gives us a lot better placement and spacing for extra buttons and dials. I love that the manual control dial is now over here. It's got a really handy locking system too, and I like that. I push it in, it stays where I want it. If I push it out, I'm free to turn it. Probably the best one I've seen so far on any camera, bar none. You know, the new design also gives us a lot more space for placement of function buttons. We now have two more right here at my fingers under the grip, just like you'd find on a traditional Nikon or Canon. It works well. We've got our other two customized function buttons up on top, and everything just has a really nice open layout. Nothing feels cramped. Everything's easy to see, easy to get to, and you can do a lot more with your right hand in terms of all the functionalities. So all in all, I think a real benefit over the E-M5. Now we look at things like the screens on this. I mean, these are all improvements over the original E-M5. Back of the screen rotates, of course, as usual, but what is quite amazing now is this new electronic viewfinder. Looking in here, I notice a couple things. First off, 2.36 million pixels. I mean, this thing is sharp and very, very clear. But what I also like, the refresh rate, nice and quick. There's really no delay at all. And this thing is huge. The magnification's beautiful. You get great eye relief if you're an eyeglass wearer. If you don't have beautiful, gorgeous, perfect eyes like myself, you're still going to enjoy using this viewfinder. And it's sharp, it's clear, and it's large. So that is a substantial improvement. The other thing they did, they kept the weather sealing of the E-M5, but they made it even better. The E-M1 has full ruggedized seals, but now they're also promoting that it's better cold resistance and ice resistance. It can take freezing temperatures. It's going to handle better, which is going to be really good here in about 4 months in Alberta. Overall, it's just building upon what was already really good about the original camera. Of course, I know what you guys want to see is image quality, right? What is this camera going to do differently? Now, it's still 16 megapixels, but the new E-M1 has a brand new sensor, very exciting, brand new processor, and also they've gotten rid of the low pass filter. This is a big trend right now, but again, it should give us good sharpness, hopefully not mess up our video with too much moire. Let's take a look, shoot this giant rock, and see what we get. Okay, so that's scary. If I bring up a photo I don't like and I hit the delete button, it just deletes it without asking me. That's kind of terrifying. Hopefully there's something in here. I'm gonna see. Oh, okay, there we go. Quick erase. I'm gonna put that to off because I do not have the cojones to deal with that. Holy cow! I'm digging the 60mm macro, man. It is nice. Using the viewfinder, using the screen, it all works well. You know what is also very interesting now. We're going to try the autofocus here in just a bit, give it a good test, but Olympus, again, always have had good autofocusing speed, and this is nice and quick, snappy, goes where I want it. Oh, very nice. Now, you know, the Olympus E-M5 always had pretty good autofocusing here. Now, with this E-M1, they've revamped it, they've changed it. Now, I've got a micro four thirds macro on right now, and we're getting just over 80 contrast detection points. So you get a really nice spread, and of course, very quick as predicted, nice and sharp. But what's also interesting now is they've got this hybrid system with phase detect. And that means I can now use this adapter, I can throw on standard 4/3 lenses. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember seeing these. I'm gonna have to dust off my knowledge because I have not used one of these lenses in a very long time. But you know, if you're still having some Olympus SLR glass, you can throw it on here with the adapter and actually still get about 37 points of phase detection autofocusing. It's a tighter spread, but hey, it's better than not being able to use them at all. So get those lenses out and do some shooting. All right, so of course we're shooting this this crevice here. We've got nice dark shadows in there to shoot with. And again, our usual ramp up starting at ISO 1600. Now, the Olympus E-M1 does go up to 25,600 ISO. I am going to still stick with this. Olympus is a great system, but it is still weakened by its small sensor. There's just no replacement for displacement, so to speak. And so, you know, high ISO, once we get to 3200 ISO and then into 6400, you'll notice that our detail does go down quite a bit. We get some softness. It gets a little bit mushy. I still do think that something like an NEX is going to do a better job typically because of the larger pixel size. Still, it's an improvement over the E-M5. I'd say at least a good stop better than that camera. That is a nice benefit. So better, always getting better, but still it is a weakness of the camera. Just going to do a test here just to see what kind of detail we get off this sensor. We're at f9, you know, we're stabilized on the wood here. I'm going to shoot here at ISO 200 and just see what this sensor can do. You know, we're going to take a look at this on the computer, but already zooming in, I mean, I can tell nice and sharp, good detail all throughout here. And these rocks are great for that because we get such fine detail. So certainly it's delivering very, very sharp results. And of course, the 75mm 1.8, it doesn't get much better than that. Optically, beautiful. You know, I'm also impressed by the stabilizer. Again, the E-M5 had a great stabilizer, and the E-M1 carries that tradition on. It's very, very steady. I like it. And one of the new things here now is it'll auto-detect if I start panning or moving. That's nice, so I don't have to click out into a different mode. If I go from shooting something like a rock to shooting like a person moving or a bird in flight, I don't have to worry. I can just follow it and shoot and get the appropriate stabilizer. So it's a nice touch. All right, so let's see what we got in here. Multiple exposure, time lapse is pretty cool. Wireless flash, of course, with the same flash you'd find on the E-M5. And, oh, Wi-Fi. Well, I guess like every other camera we got, you know, transfer to our smartphones and connect through Wi-Fi, upload to Facebook, yada, yada, yada. Good to have, I guess. So, you know, I mean, it's an amazing rock, but in the end, it is just a rock. There's only so much we can do. So we're going to head back to the car, drive to a different location, and maybe try out the autofocusing and the video features. All right, so we are back here at the skate park now with the Olympus, and what we're going to do is try out the continuous autofocusing testing here. We know the single autofocus is quick. What we want to see is the brand new system in here, the continuous autofocus tracking that grabs the subject and follows it. Can it really keep up with the sports in action? Another nice improvement here on the E-M1 is we're now getting 10 frames per second shooting, but with continuous tracking, it's going to be 6. That's still not bad. Let's see what it can do. So actually not bad there. It does pick up the subject very, very quickly. And yeah, it looks like it's doing a very good job of following it actually. I do find in some situations, you know, especially if the subject's going side to side, it does have a tendency to hunt a little bit, kind of come off target. With depth of field, it's covering it. But when the subject is moving predictably forward or backwards, it does a really good job of following it. So as mirrorless cameras go, good. And you gotta remember the last time we were out here shooting, we were on the D4, not quite the same kind of comparison. So I'm not blown away by it, but it does work okay. A bit of depth of field, we'd be doing well. 2.8 might be an issue. All right, so just another observation I'm noticing with the continuous autofocus. Right now I'm using the Panasonic 35 to 100 2.8 because this is beautiful. It's great that you can cross-platform. Olympus doesn't have anything yet, but I'm sure it's on the horizon here. But they are coming out with a nice 12 to 40 2.8 with this camera. That's going to be good. But you know, at distance for sports and action, the continuous autofocus works great. You know, you don't have to refocus very far. But I do find that if you're up close, you're gonna have some issues. If I was trying to follow my kids just, you know, 10 feet away, moving back and forth, it's gonna be a little bit laggy, it does hesitate a bit, and sometimes it hunts. You're gonna love it for sports and action at distance with long lenses, not so much with wide angles up close. Still, it's not bad, it's just not great. All right, now video on this camera, what I've been finding, the continuous focusing is great. It's working well, as we've talked about. But the video itself is a bit of a letdown on the camera. Quality is good, no doubt. I do like that it scans really quick. Even though it's a CMOS chip, the rolling shutter is very, very well controlled. However, you're only getting 30 frames per second at 1080. No 24, no slow-mo. They included a mic jack, which is a nice, thoughtful feature, but you're not going to find a headphone jack or anything like that. I mean, if you want to do really high cinematic work, the GH3 is still the king of all cameras that way. Intra-frame, better compression ratios. You're not going to find that here. It's okay. It's not great. All right, now I really like having focus peaking on a camera. It's great for video, it's great for manual focusing lenses, and the EM1 does that. It's got a great system, works fantastic with their lenses. However, I did bring my fancy new Metabone speed booster for Micro Four Thirds. I want to try it with my Nikon glass. Stick it on there, I don't get focus peaking anymore. I mean, you know, luckily the viewfinder's high enough res you can get away with it, but it would have been nice to incorporate that. Seems to only work when you've got electrical connection. Okay. Here's my final thoughts on this camera. You know, the EM5, its predecessor, was one of the most loved mirrorless cameras on the planet, and for good reason. It looked nice, it shot well, it had great features. Everything about that camera is here, or it's even better. You are gonna love the EM1. I actually really like the new feel and design. It's comfortable, the buttons were a joy to use. It's one of those cameras that you really find comfortable, it's natural to use, and that's a big benefit. Image quality is sharper, low light performance is better, you know, the focusing is improved. Nothing radical, guys. It's just an evolution of an already fantastic camera. There are some other features here, of course, that they're throwing in. We've got the HDR mode. We've got things like Olympus's art filters. They love that you guys can do all sorts of crazy stuff to your photos. And they've even added a PC sync port, so at least you feel like you're getting your money's worth, you know, a lot of extra features. All in all, too, if you're an Olympus 4/3 user, you know, the classic SLR E-type, you have an upgrade path, so that's a nice option, too. Olympus is including you back into the fold. You know, I think you're going to like the camera. It was a lot of fun to use, and it is out. So check this out, coming soon. Thanks, guys.